Broadcasting live, this is the Handicappers Report, brought to you by the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany, and CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today.
Saturday edition of the Handicappers Report. Seth Merrow in the studio, live via Zoom from the Big Easy. Brian Nadeau. Brian, good morning.
Seth, good morning. Good to hear from you. I'm glad you guys dug out and you're okay.
Usually, and I saw a little light jacket in the paddock yesterday as I was watching you. So not quite as warm in New Orleans as it was in your normal winter base over in Florida, but you have us beat. It was kind of shocking, maybe too strong of a word, because I've lived here long enough to go to bed one night, and I kind of looked out the window and it was starting to snow at 7 or 8 o'clock, and then I didn't look out again until like lunchtime the next day. So it went from nothing to snow on the top of my car the next day. It's just an incredible. And as I drove down the Northway this morning, the little thermometer on my dashboard never got out of single digits.
Wow, that's brutal. Obviously, I have a lot of connections back home, some good friends. My parents are there. So, I talked to them all, and everybody said, we were supposed to get some snow, and then it just completely blew up. And my dad said he went out to plow at 10 a.m., got home at 6 p.m. So it's funny. I miss a good storm. I will readily admit that. I don't miss the single digits you just alluded to, though. That is for sure.
Yeah, winter has come, and it's not winter yet, unfortunately, but life in the Northeast, as it were. The 8th biggest storm, they said, if people didn't see that in the news, the 8th biggest storm in the Albany area, which incredible, as I say. Not shocking, but a little bit surprising. I mentioned seeing you down in the paddock, and we've been watching, and you're doing a great job down there in the paddock at the fairgrounds this season. Yesterday, sitting in with John Dooley, and I started to think, I've talked over the years on the show, had a lot of, and I don't know whether I've ever had him on. I'm going to have to schedule him.
Oh, 100%. Thanks for the kind words, first and foremost. I appreciate it. Everybody back home's been great. Duel, you have to have Duels on. He's a New Yorker, too, by the way. Staten Island, St. John's grad. I've personally known him for about 18 days or so, but he's a great guy, a lot of fun, knows his racing. Does obviously a great job on the mic, but a really personable guy, knows his racing. So, yeah, I will get you his number. I will talk to him today to get you in touch, because he would be a great addition to racing across America, no doubt. Yeah,
I love to plug him in, as they say at some point. St. John's grad. So does he know Mike Rapoli?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think. Oh, Seth, also a former New York Racing Association employee. So there's a lot of connections there as well. So yeah, he would, I'm sure you guys could throw some stories back and forth in a good segment.
Yeah, very good. At the end of the program, I'm going to catch up with you on what's going on today at the fairgrounds, because there's some nice stakes today and a couple of notables, and that ties in also to racing across America, because I have Brendan Walsh coming up with Maxfield. But you're going to look at Gulfstream this morning. I will shift gears a little bit later on and look at Aqueduct, but we do want to mention golf. Mandatory pay in the Rainbow Six today, so people should be aware of that.
Yeah, 839 in the, with the exception of, obviously, Aqueduct's got a card, but I think that those two tracks will take all the attention today. Los Al just paid out, was it Thursday, I believe? So I would think, Seth, big balloons, as always, at Gulfstream Park, 5, 8, 10 million, whatever the number is, it'll be a big one. And so I'll kind of zip through these first 5, which aren't that great, to be honest, and then we'll get some in-depth going in that Rainbow Six.
Yeah, they will plow it in today. There's no question about it. I will also toss out there, just so folks are aware, tonight on the sulky side of things, Woodbine/Mohawk, their super high 5 in their race 11, which is going to go off a little after 11 o'clock, has 330-some thousand mandatory pay tonight. It's a 20-cent increment, super high 5, first 5 finishers in the 11th race tonight at Woodbine Mohawk. So people can keep that in mind as well. All right, you ready to jump into Gulfstream?
Let's roll.
All right, the first at Gulfstream this afternoon, $20,000 maiden claimers scheduled for 7.5 furlongs on the grass.
And I'll give these one-sheet selections. We'll update them. Pay attention to the scratches today as well, especially in that Rainbow 6. And we'll see what we have. But in the opener, I've got it 3-9, 12-5. 12-05 opener, by the way. 3-9, 12-5, 5-10-9 if we're off the turf. I thought Ray DeLigas really, really ran well getting to the turf last time after not really doing a lot of running on debut on the dirt. Gets to the turf last time. The figure blows way up. A close fourth. A drop in class here as well, and I think could get overlooked just a little bit for kind of an underrated Sanchez barn. Let's put that one on top. Outside to Big Perm, who is in form for Kevin Sweezy, who started to meet very, very sharply. I worry a little bit about the cutback in the post for this one, so I put this one in second, though he's going to hit hard. And the post really comes into play with number 12 Scotch Whiskey, who's drawn terribly. If nothing else for Kelsey Danner, he does have some speed, and maybe Arroyo can get positioned into the first turn. But, boy, that first turn comes very, very quickly at 7.5. 3-9, 12-5 in the opener.
We move on to race number 2, bottom level conditional claimers going 3/4 of a mile.
Early pick 4 time as well. 8-4 over the 3. My perfect ex-wife. There's just not a lot in here, Seth. This one drops in class. I think that's going to help. 1 at the 2L level, 3 back. Against much tougher for the 3L last time. So I think on the drop from an outside attack post, that should work today. Say Adios has got speed. A little bit of a drop for Hess. Has speed. Has been in decent enough form. Stubbed her toe a little bit last time, but a rebound puts her right on the line. And then the morning line favorite, number 3, Miss Big Spring, probably rates as the speed, but I think kind of takes all the worst of it as the inside speed. And you look at the dirt run 2 back. Turf run last time was solid. The dirt run 2 back was not pretty at all, and she kind of looks like a better turf horse than dirt horse. So I'll put her underneath. 8-4 over the 3 to kick off the early pick 4.
Move on to race number 3, maiden $16,000 claimers, 6 furlongs the trip.
5-9 over the 2. Number 5, Sid Hearth at a price. You look at Gustavo Delgado, 33%, 7 for 21 off the claim. This one had some trouble last time. The runs 2 and 3 back were decent enough. There is not a lot in here. I'll take a little bit of a price. Sid Hearth on top. Number 9, Little Dude off the last race. Really, really major player in here. But it was a little Jekyll and Hyde work, and the race 2 back was just terrible with no real visible excuse. And last time woke way up. What do we get today? If he can reproduce that run, he's going to be a major player. Top the 4 has been in good form. Second twice in a row would be no surprise from up close under Saez. And then down inside, I would not want a short price on Cobb. Goes to the Jorge Delgado barn. 23% with newcomers to the barn. But this one's 0 for 7 and was with Juan Alvarado, who does a good enough job. IRAD lands here. You're going to get a short underlaid price. I don't want it. 5-9 over the 4-2 in race 3 at Gulfstream.
Race number 4 on Saturday afternoon. These are maiden claimers. Tags are $20,000 to $25,000 on the grass at a mile.
7-6 over the 2-8 if we're on the dirt, 7-6-10. But Houdini's awesome. Didn't do any running and was. When's the last time you saw Todd Fletcher, first-time starter at 39 to 1? Wow. Just never see it. Well, here's the special weight drop. It's predictable. A better post today. Paco gets aboard, probably infuse a little more speed into the son of Tail of Akadi. And Todd's 29% going from maiden special weight to maiden claimers. The barn has started off really nicely. Had 4 winners last Saturday, including a big upset in the Fort Lauderdale. Houdini's awesome on top. Happy Champ, another special weight dropper for Jack Sisterson, who won the Naira Mile a few weeks back. That was really cool to see. So Calumet Farm for Jack here. Happy Champ on the drop with Leperoux should wake up a little bit. Inside, El Afortunado is kind of the house horse. He's proven at the level. Drops a little bit, but I think he's meeting tougher today, even though he drops. So I'm going to limit his use to underneath. And then number 8 at a price, Mr. Donzella, I thought ran fine for 40 on debut when finishing behind El Afortunado, but the price will be better. Second time out as well. showed some speed last time. It's tough winning 2 turns on debut. He ran very, very nicely at a big number. Don't sleep on him at a price, but I'll call this 7-6 over the 2-8, Seth, in race 4.
Very good. Let's move on to race number 5. $16,000 to $20,000 claimers going 6 furlongs.
8-3 over the 7. Include the Beast. Looked good winning first out for Dave Fawkes. Gaffalione is here. We draw well to be outside with some speed here. I think Include the Beast is going to be tough to beat here. Facing winners, but some of several of these are included. Number 3, Texas Reward, who really dominated last time at Delaware Park for Pecoraro. It was in the slop. This one's never actually ran on a fast main track. Second to a distant second on debut, then a romp last time. Steps up, probably going to run on dry land today, so he's a little bit unproven, but is a major player on the rise. And then number 7, Miss Italy, 9-2 on the morning line. A decent second last time against Lesser at GPW. Rises in class, but if she runs back to that last race for Sano and Diaz, she'll be right in the mix as well. 8-3 over to 7, Seth, to kind of gear us up for that Rainbow 6.
Yeah, and let's take a break, and then when we come back, we will set the table for the $839,000 carryover mandatory pay Rainbow 6 on Saturday afternoon. Stay tuned. Having trouble finding us? It's actually quite simple. Whether online or on your TV, it's never been easier to watch and wager on championship horse racing with Capital OTB. Simply log on to capitalotbbet.com. There you can watch our morning shows, live stream races, and wager on our state-of-the-art wagering platform. You can also watch from the comfort of your home on Spectrum Cable Channel 1250 or Fios Channel 467 and win more with Capital OTB.
Welcome to Albany County, an incredible destination to live, work, and play, with easy connections to more than a dozen cities from a vibrant modern airport. It's a short trip downtown to a hive of culture and amusement. From world-class shows at the newly renovated Times Union Center to reliving the past at the New York State Museum. From outdoor recreation to shopping to nightlife, Albany County has something for everyone. We'll see you soon.
In a recent study of some of the top online wagering sites, Capital OTB won big in total player rewards, far surpassing some of the best-known wagering sites in America. While other rewards programs simply offer you points redeemable for gift cards, Capital OTB's rebates are paid to you in actual cash. Plus, Capital OTB gives you full and immediate access to your money. So if all you're getting now are points and gift cards, join Capital OTB Player Rewards today and get cash back. Visit capitalotbbet.com and sign up today.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Saturday morning look at Gulfstream and Aqueduct. Brian is in the midst of the Gulfstream card. Again, we're kicking off in this upcoming race 6, the mandatory pay Rainbow 6, $839,000 in the pool already. And that means this thing is going to balloon up, a 20-cent increment. You can put together a nice little ticket. So certainly take a look at it this afternoon. Well, Brian, we'll get your opinions, starting with race number 6, kicking off the sequence, $16,000 to $20,000 conditional claimers, non-winners of 3 lifetime, 7.5 furlongs on the grass.
Yeah, we just ran a 21 and change first quarter set for the first 5 at Gulfstream to get to these last 6. So we'll expand a little bit here. You and I talked off the air, and I thought you mentioned maybe $64 was your ticket. And I don't feel like, Seth, this is the type of sequence where you need to peel a few rubber bands off the bankroll, because it looks pretty comprehensive. We'll get to the last race in a little bit, and you and I both agree that is the spread race, the separator, if you will, where I think a lot of tickets will be alive to that last race. We're going to talk about these first 5, and there's just, seemingly at least not a lot of different ways to go in here. My best bet is coming up in the next race. And these races here, to me, in this sequence seem pretty, a little cut and dry to me, to be quite honest. There's several horses that can't win, and then a small select group that have to win. That's kind of how this first leg played out to me. I've got it 10 over the 7-9. There seems to be some speed in here. In Conforto, I just you know me, Seth. This draw is terrible, but Irad does such a good job getting position into first turns in his races. And Conforto, drops in class. Here's your angle as well, Seth. These state-bred allowance rates into cheap claimers, and I think a lot of people look at this as like a class rise, and I'm with you. You've been on this for several years now, that it's actually a class drop, and it's a hidden class drop, and I agree wholeheartedly with you. Conforto, the last was definitely pretty ugly. There's just no doubt about it. But Irad says he'll ride for Mike Maker, and maybe at the end of the day, Seth, Conforto is just a $20,000 animal. He's going to hit hard in here. I like him. Underneath, I've got Pretendant for Paco and Kelly Breen. First time gelding off a win. And I'll tell you what, this one drops from 9 furlongs to 7.5. There's plenty of foundation here. And I think you would agree, Seth, anytime you come into a low-level claiming race off a win, you should get elevated a little bit, because these are typically races riddled with horses that have strung several losses in a row together. And if nothing else, Pretendant enters in good form off a win, off a second. Barn Rider Paco is here. We run as a first-time gelding with, I don't necessarily love the spacing, just about 4 weeks, but still, I think Pretendant's in a good spot. And then if someone's popping this field, it's super high voltage, for Live Oak. And I think you have to use this horse. If I had the ability to have 3 A's, I probably would have did it, especially for the Rainbow, because there is speed here for your guy Trombo. Edgar Zayas will put him in the game early. But if there's some inside speed and horses go, Seth, super high voltage runs the risk of being very, very wide into the quick first turn. And he hasn't run on turf in 4 starts, so a little mixed signals there. Now drops off a dud at GPW. So there's kind of some mixed signals there. I'm going to call this 10-7-9, but Seth, this is one of those races, maybe the 3 at I Capote. Other than that, man, I don't really see a lot of funkiness going on here, and a lot of different ways you can go. Dylan Rocks, our old friend from New York, is in with Maker, but boy, he just bombed City at GPW last time and actually rises in class. Maybe memorable if you're looking for a price, but I don't know. Hero Up seems to be off form, but he's got speed. Not a lot of different ways to go in the first leg, Seth, in my mind.
On my ticket, and again, I'm waiting for scratches and whatnot to really finalize, but I had a 10-9, 5, and 7, and I'd use the 10-9 and the 5. But I'm really scared to set, because Paco Lopez is just riding so well. That one, I'm scared will beat me. I threw Dylan Rocks in just as 5-1 Gaffleone on board, beaten favorite last time. I looked at him as maybe a rebound second off the claim. I liked that Maker was confident off the dud last time to move the horse up a little bit. So I tossed that one in. But I'm with you. I had the 10 on top. Conforto, 10-9, 5, and 7 for me. And on the ticket, I used the 10-9 and the 5. As I say, the ticket at this point, I'm waiting for scratches before I kind of finalize things. 7th race at Gulfstream today, optional claim or non-winners of 1 other than 3/4 of a mile.
This is my play of the day. It's just 7-4 to the hoop. Jerry B comes out of better races at Churchill Downs, good races at Churchill Downs, good runs at Churchill Downs. We get a little bit of a cutback, and the last time from 1 mile to 6, and the last time this horse ran 6, she was on the lead. So Arroyo will have her, she's not going to let anybody get away from her from the perfect outside post. And boy, this is just not a strong race for the level. Let's just be quite honest here. And I think Jerry B probably will end up going favored. Maybe Dow Collection is the favorite, and I think I have her in second. But I think Jerry B is in a great spot here, a breakthrough spot for Kelsey Danner, who does a good under-the-radar kind of job. And I know she's been third in all 3 starts recently, but they're just against better horses in Kentucky at Churchill Downs. And this is a class drop. So I think Jerry B is really, really, to me, Seth, if you're looking for a single in this sequence, if you're on a budget, that's my single, Jerry B. Dow Collection, no knocks for Gaffleone and Ralph Nix. Blinkers off, so I wonder where she's going to be placed today. If you get by this, if you draw lines through her 2 sloppy runs, and you're left with a pretty strong, fast maiden special weight win, but it was in July. There's gaps. She hasn't been out now since September. There's kind of mixed signals here with Dow Collection, and She's been a little tough to trust in her career as well. So I do think you have to use her, but I'm going to put her underneath. And again, I'm being aggressive here with Jerry B. Other than that, I mean, good luck. Yeah, Hawalala down inside. I mean, I guess Zayas gets here, but, you know, no disrespect to Juan Avila, but is he going to improve a horse off Steve Asmussen? Asmussen, by the way, Steve Asmussen. We've confirmed that down here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. Is he going to improve a horse off that? Adeline, I don't know, 1 for 16 with 7 underneath finishes. Good luck there. And then other than that, you know, not a lot here, Seth. And I think that's another reason why I like an aggressive single with Jerry B. 7-4 in race 5. Race 7 kicks off the late pick 5 as well.
I have the 7 on top as well, but I went 3 deep and included the 1 just on the back numbers. I didn't feel comfortable leaving that one off, but you're right. I mean, will this one improve off of Asmus? So you confirmed it with him?
Joe K and Mr. Dooley have confirmed it.
Because it is constantly Asmussen or Asmussen. You hear both versions equally as often.
Yes, there's like a little Z in there, Asmussen. And also, so now the ball's in your court, Seth, to get a confirmation on Robert Tross.
Okay. All right. I'll work on that. I will work on that. 8th race today at Gulfstream Park. Optional claim or non-winners of 2 other than scheduled for 8.5 furlongs on the grass.
7-2 over the 12-1. And this one looks like maybe one of the ones we can get a little spready in. Grand Journey, let's get a firm turf course. Let's cut back. Let's drop in class off the Kentucky Cup turf. Maker kind of threw him to the wolves that day, but we know that's worked for him. And here he is back with his friends. Sometimes we say, oh, he's in for a tag. Well, you still have to take $62,500 out of your pocket to claim a horse. So, it's easier said than done. And I think sometimes we overlook that. Grand Journey on the stiff drop, back with his friends. He's only run twice off the Maker claim, both times in stakes races. I think he can wake up in a big way here. Don't sleep on Sand Dancer down inside for Timmy Hills and Bravo. Jersey connections here. Another class dropper out of the Monmouth race last time when Almanar off the long layoff was good for Chad. Here's a drop in class. He's another one back at the proper level. I think he could surprise at a little bit of at a nice price, honestly. Success and surpass outside for motion, the tough post, an underlaid price at 5-2. Why? I don't really get that. He shouldn't be favored off an allowance win at Woodbine. He's stepping up today. And then Grays Creek, sure, he can win for Chad. Don't get me wrong, but 3-1 on this runner. He is slow on paper. He will save all the ground. I understand that. And obviously it's Chad Brown, and we know what Chad can do. But boy, Grays Creek is like about the 6th fastest horse in the race, and anywhere near 3-1, he would be a major underlay. I'll probably use him defensively, Seth, but he is not near the top of my list. I've got this 7-2-12-1, 1-8-10 if it's unfortunately rained off to kick off the late pick 4.
Yeah, I'm using the 7 and the 12 on my ticket. Like you had the 7 on top, Grand Journey for Mike Maker. In the 9th race, we kick off some stakes action. The Via Borghese, $100,000 for the ladies, going 1 mile and 3/16 on the grass.
This was originally going to be my play of the day. It's just 2-9, and traipsing just looks loose and controlling for Christoph and Junior Alvarado. I mean, ran huge last time, almost wiring the Long Island. You get a lightly raced daughter of Stroll. She stepped up last time in a grade 3. She now drops back in class. I assume Junior will put her on the engine, and there's just no speed in here, Seth. And not only is there no speed, there are several horses who just want to absolutely drop out the back and make a late run. So Trapsing on a loose, hopefully loose and lonely lead. I've got her on top. And then Great Island for Chad. I know she's lightly raced. She's slow on figures. But at least this one, as opposed to the last race, I think Great Island is going to sit the right kind of trip. She'll be close early. She's got a world of upside. Her 2 wins have been very, very impressive at Churchill and at Keeneland. Yes, she steps up in class, but there's no world beaters in this $100,000 stakes race. So I think Great Island is in a really good spot to make a big dent. You have to use her from an outside up-close stalking position under Gaffalione. If I had someone in third, it's always Shopping. And she could, be a little nuisance to Trapsing, because I'm sure Irad will put her into the race early. And she's definitely, no knocks on her. She's proven. She just missed in the Dowager last time at Keeneland, the grade 3, when she was second beaten ahead. So she's a major player, and she will be pretty close early. But I hope Junior sends Trapsing early under aggressive ride. He controls the pace, slows it down, and then it's a 2 furlong sprint off the turn. 2-9 for me. I'll sprinkle in a little bit of an 8. Other than that, Seth, boy, I mean, I don't. It's another kind of race where I don't really know who else you have to use. I guess Court Return off the EP Taylor up with our friends at Woodbine, but I mean, she was 41-1 that day, and I don't know. She kind of just has no bounce written on her to me. I'd probably put her in as a B, because she could probably regress and still win this, but I'm a little leery of that run. That was not a good addition of the EP Taylor either.
I went 3 deep in here, 2, 4, and 8. So the 4 was I tossed just as maybe a price horse somewhere in the sequence. It's Todd and John Velasquez. I think on a best effort, maybe some of these would have to come back a little bit, but I thought that horse was a little bit intriguing, perhaps. So again, I went 2, 4, and 8. But I will say, I debated back and forth for a while of just singling the 2. And I just couldn't quite pull the trigger there. But I wouldn't argue against somebody, if you wanted to spread in other races, maybe making that decision. Moving on to the Mr. Prospector. Nice addition of the Mr. Prospector here in race number 10. Grade 3 event for 3-year-olds and up. $100,000 up for grabs as they go 7 furlongs.
Yeah, it is a good addition, and kind of what you alluded to in the last race, Seth. If you have a couple strong opinions on this card, you could single a couple races and buy a few others and hope for some chaos, because there are races where you can be pretty condensed. I've got this 7-9 over the 4. I liked Diamond Oops in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. I thought he ran fine. It was a dumb race. It was a goofy race. Literally, one horse ran and the other 13 didn't, and that was Whitmore. And I thought he ran okay from a tough draw, and he got shuffled a little bit. Now he's back at his track. He's 5 for 8 at Gulfstream. He's 1 for 1 at 7 furlongs, and I think he catches his field at the right time. So I like him in here. I think he's in a really good spot, and I think he's a really good horse. I think he's a very underrated horse. Patrick Biancone's done a really good job with this horse. Turf, dirt, short, long. He can do anything. He's arguably the most versatile horse in the country, good horse in the country. So hopefully I'm looking for him to get back on the beam. I've got Forenzi Fire in second, and the rainy weather at Aqueduct prompted Kelly Breen to ship him down here. And I have no knocks on him, Seth. And Kelly's done a great job getting this horse to run well away from Jason Service. As we all know, easier said than done. He was a very good third in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. He's just danced so many dances, Seth. And I just wonder how much more he's got to offer. And here he is in the, I don't want to poo-poo a $100,000 grade 3 stakes race, but I just wonder if maybe there's not a lot more to give from Forenzi Fire. I'm going to try to beat him, at least on top. You have to use him, Seth, as an A. So I've got him in second. He's a must-use A. High Cal is a horse I've never liked. Admittedly, never liked him. I've never thought he's very good. But now he's with Todd, and Todd can move them up. Kieran did a solid job with this horse, but I kind of thought he was who he was for Kieran. But now here's Todd. Here's Luis Saez. Maybe he puts them in the race a little bit earlier. If they get a little hot and bothered, maybe he fires. I know he hasn't been out in over a year, and he's probably prepping for better or what they hope is better and longer. I'm going to use him as a B because I do think he could blow up for this barn. But he's a distant B for me. I do think these top two are a cut above. I'll mention Sleepy Eyes Todd, who just freaked close from the clouds in that Lafayette on Breeders' Cup Saturday at Keeneland. But boy, he got a dream set up the rail. He's a cool horse. I just don't see it happening again. Last Judgment at a big number on the morning line. He's not going to be 20, but he'll be 12 or 10 to 1. And he comes in off a fast race for Tom Morley. And now he goes off the claim for Mike Maker. I mean, if you're a buyer guy or girl, 98 buyer last time, you're not going to have to run much faster to win this set. Mind Control likes 7 furlongs, but he looks off form. If you want to get a little funky, you could go other ways in here. But I think, Diamond Oops and Firenze Fire are clearly the best two in this spot.
I'm right with you. We did that stakes preview, Mike Callahan and I put Diamond Oops on top. I like when horses repeat what they've done, and you see it at the stakes level, repeat what they've done from a previous season. And Diamond Oops last year came out of kind of a dull performance in the Breeders' Cup to tie a lifetime best buyer figure in winning this race last year. So I like that scenario. And like you, I'm a little iffy. Firenze Fire, since Kelly Breen barn, has been a little inconsistent. When he runs well, he runs very well, but that's not every time. And so I was willing to take a little pop against, but I'm going to use both of those on the rainbow ticket. Right, I didn't use it on the rainbow ticket, but Last Judgment to me, really interesting. I had that one in the third spot, as you say, maybe a little bit of a price there, but I thought that one was intriguing as well. All right, and we wind up at just about 5:15 in the PM at Gulfstream Park, and it will be somewhere in that you would have to think vicinity. Although I say that not with the rainbow carryover. I was going to mention they've now done away with the post time drag down there, but with the rainbow today, the first race in the sequence will definitely be moved a little. There will be a little drag there, and they admitted that even when they said no post-time drag anymore. They said, on days like this with the mandatories, maybe we'll push it a little bit. But scheduled for about 5:15, race number 11, maiden special, 2-year-olds going a mile on the grass. And yeah, as you and I talked off the air a little bit earlier, this is, I think, the toughest race in the sequence.
Okay, that's interesting you said that, because I was wondering, as you were talking, I'm thinking to myself, sure, it's easy to say you're not going to have a drag until the big day, and then you're, oh, okay. But all right, noted. And yes, this is the one, Seth, and this is if you're going to buy a race and you want to, it'd be pretty cool to be alive to the all ball in the finale. I probably know some friends, some railroad place residents that might be alive to the all ball. This is the type of race at 5-7, 2-1-11 for me. I mean, the dart landed on Ultimate Gift. Pletcher Firster, 350 Son of Pioneer of the Knot. Saez is here. It's a pretty modest field, at least on paper. So being a first-time starter is not a bad thing. Being a first-time starter for Todd Pletcher is an even better thing. Put Ultimate Gift on top. Advanced Placement's my kind of kooky horse for Lynch. I don't know how kooky it is. 15-1 on the morning line. I don't know if you know this, Seth. I found this out on Twitter the other day. Pete Aiello is actually making a morning line now at Gulfstream Park, which, yeah, that's kind of odd to me. But I will say this: he's done a better job. That's for sure. I also will say it's impossible not to do a better job. But he has definitely made an improvement. So I commend him on that. I was part of a Twitter conversation with him last week, and you can tell he's definitely paying attention. So I give him a lot of credit. Where we have American Trist is in the mix for Maker getting back to turf. Down inside, Girl Dad in the mix, way outside. Munquad, I don't really know why Munquad would be favored on the morning line from a terrible, terrible draw, trying turf for Todd after three bad runs on third. I love this horse two back at Keeneland. I tried him again on the one sheet last time. He's been terrible. So he is by Warfront. Maybe he wakes up on turf. Public information for Chad. I mean, doesn't run an inch on dirt at Keeneland, and all of a sudden now he's on turf. I guess he could wake up, but you got to make those kind of horses beat you. Seth, there is so much going on in this nightcap. I didn't even mention number 4. He's Pure Gold for Michelle Nehe, who ran very well on turf at Keeneland with a quote-unquote big number for this field. You have to use him. I mean, where's the dart landing, Seth, that you could go any way here? 5-7, 2-1, 11 for me, 4-11, 10 if it's on the dirt.
Yeah, I'm using the 11, the 5, and the 9. The 11 and the 9, as you mentioned, on dirt, So now they're going over to turf. So there are question marks there. The firster from Pletcher also in my mix. But it was just one of those races where, you could have gone in West Point and Rick Pitino have Girl Dad, the number 1 for George Weaver. I mean, I could point it. I'm going to use 3. I could point at another 4 horses or 5 or 6 that I would have similar confidence in. It's a tough way to end the sequence. If you get that far, you have to sweat it out unless, as you say, you hit the all button in there because it is a tough sequence. A tough way to end the sequence in that 11th and final today at Gulfstream. But we wish everybody good luck, and hopefully you make it that far and have some live runners going into another break. When we come back, we will shift our attention to Aqueduct. So everybody out there, stay tuned.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race plays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player? To have a better knowledge of the game? To be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. It's in front, but here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Paul Brown. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish to the turn. Here's the wire.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Brian with you here in New Orleans and Seth up in a snowy Capital District in Albany. We just got through 11 on a Rainbow Six mandatory card at Gulfstream Park. I believe around 240.
What is not to interrupt you, but what is the weather like down there right now? Because as I say, I saw you in the paddock yesterday, kind of a light jacket, but it was only a few days ago you guys were in shirt sleeves. So what's the weather like in New Orleans right now?
It's not Fort Lauderdale. How's that? It's a little chill, little Bird Green Bay. I don't want to poke fun because you just got 100 inches of snow, but it's not warm here, Seth. It's been yesterday and Thursday was in the mid 40s. Oh. Now we're expecting like 65 today, but yeah, you might have saw me in the light jacket. You probably didn't see the space heater next to me. So it's been very, very cool. Especially at night, but I think today is supposed to be about 65, so nice. That will feel like Fort Lauderdale to me. So that will be welcome, but it hasn't been warm. There's no doubt about it. It has not been warm, but again, nothing like back home. So 10 at Aqueduct today, as we talked off the air, 11:50. So you gotta, it's like we're spinning the wheel at Aqueduct, and it lands on 11:50 in the AM. It's a special way to kick it off. Fillies and Mares 3 and up, 6.5 on the main, and an absolutely imposing favorite.
Yeah, and I couldn't get past back channel 2, 5, 1, and 4. Back channel for Linda Rice. It's just one of those. I talk about these every once in a while. A horse that just has a buyer edge on the field, and a pretty clear buyer edge on the field. And I'm a buyer's guy, and it's only a tool in the toolbox, but sometimes it just jumps off the page, and that's the factor here with back channel. So that one's on top. Risk model has numbers, certainly better than the rest of the field for the most part. But again, they're still a little lacking as compared to the top pick. But it's Klarovich, it's Chad Brown, so risk model is certainly usable as well. And then strings attached down on the inside. Paid a couple $100,000 for this horse at Keeneland back in September of 2018. So a November 2020 debut is a belated debut and didn't show much that day. But it was on the turf going long, now dirt going short. We'll see if this improves the horse, but maybe with the experience under the belt, we'll get a better try from strings attached. In the opener, I have a 2-5, 1, and 4.
Early pick 4-time in race 2. It's a state-bred 2-year-old filly maiden special weight, 6.5 again on the main.
2, 5, 1, and 10, the number 2, Valorand, by McLean's Music. If you watch enough, I like McLean's Music as one of those win early type sires. Charlie Baker trainee that, had a debut that was, I thought, productive enough that horse experience and some education out of it. Subsequently, we have the Bullet workout just 5 days ago coming into this that I think is, bodes well also. So I'll put Valorand on top, blame it on Mary in the second spot. Horse is clearly going to take some action off the 2 stake tries most recently and now dropping back into the proper maiden special company. The Ladyfingers 2-back was very good, finishing a close-up third behind Party at Pages. A little disappointing last time, though, but it was over a sloppy sealed track, so may have been affected by that. Logical player, again, given that race 2-back, but I'll take a little shot with Valorand to get it over, blame it on Mary. And then in the third spot, Pleasure to Luck. Again, another one that probably got some benefit out of the debut, albeit it was back in June. But I kind of like that angle. A little bit of an education in the first start. Then there's some time off. I think you get that time off. There's the potential to come back with added maturity. The latest workout was pretty good. So I won't be surprised to see some improvement from Pleasure Luck this afternoon in start number 2. In race number 2, I have a 2, 5, 1, and 10.
Race 3 is a $50,000 starter allowance. Fillies and mares clean up 6 on the main track.
1, 4, 10, and 3. Went kind of master of the obvious again with Invaluable. Has early speed from the rail. And again, just looking buyer-wise, this horse, again, the last couple of races, the last 3 kind of numbers combined just give this horse a little bit of recent consistency and consistency with numbers that, again, a little bit of an edge on this bunch. So I'll have to tilt in that direction. Cyrenic in the second spot. Goes out for Linda Rice off a good close-up finish last time. And Acclaim. Been popular at the claim box in the last 3 starts, a couple of claims. But claimed last time off, again, the close-up second-place finish with a number that stacks up nicely with the rest of this field. Third spot, Dashy, goes out for Wayne Potts on the move from Woodbine. And Brian, I noted as handicapping the last couple of days, really, doing the afternoon show. I've been talking buying horses and trying to, over the next couple of weeks in New York, couple of weeks when they're racing, get a barometer on these Woodbine horses and how they're going to do. Last couple of seasons down at Gulfstream, Woodbine shippers seem to have done pretty well. We're still kind of sorting things out. There was a mixed bag yesterday. One of the Woodbine shippers won for Wayne Potts, I believe, yesterday at Aqueduct. A couple others, maybe not so much. But I think Dashy can be a player if the horse takes to the dirt course. And again, as I say, we'll start to get a little bit of a barometer on how to read these horses a little bit better as we get more of a track record. It seems like Wayne Potts has a number of them at this meet. But in the third at Aqueduct, I have it 1, 4, 10, and 3.
Yeah, I always kind of think the horses that go to Gulfstream are kind of there for a reason. Our buddy Kevin Attard brings some down there. Josie Carroll. I mean, they are leaving plenty of horses back up north at Woodbine, Roger Atfield. So the ones down there, in theory, are there to compete and supposedly run well. So, yeah, I tend to agree and keep that in mind as well. The fourth, I keep saying the main track. We're on the main track until April now, right, Seth? So no more I don't have to specify anymore. The fourth is Fillies and Mares 3 and up. It's a state-bred optional claimer at 6.5.
Yeah, they have. If people aren't aware, they did wrap up the turf season a few days ago. Fourth at Aqueduct, 3. I should mention that probably about as late as it's gone, I would think, or close to as late as it's gone, being just 5 days ago or so. I guess a week ago. I guess last Saturday was probably the last day, but that's pretty late into the season. But this fourth race, I have a 3, 5, 2, and 7. Kathy Naz on top. Hasn't been seen since Saratoga. But I thought the Jim Bond horse, I just looked this field over and I went back and forth and back and forth. And I thought if this horse runs back to what we saw, going to be a solid contender in here. I don't know whether we will get that, but I don't have any more confidence in any other horse in here. Miss Jimmy in the second spot, certainly firing some good numbers, has a little more recency than the top pick, but I just I didn't find this one any more intriguing, really. And Miss Jimmy will be a shorter price for sure. Forever Changed in the third spot, class-wise may stack up nicely with this bunch, moving in for the tag in the optional claimer. I don't know whether that's going to be a class move that's going to be super beneficial in this particular group, but it may move the horse a little bit forward. Awesome Debate, I thought could be a player in here off the long layoff for Charlie Baker. If you get a little bit of value there, we're looking at 9-2 on the morning line. I wouldn't want much less than that to take the shot off the layoff, but as they say, could be a player if you get a little value. The fourth at Aqueduct, 3, 5, 2, and 7.
And one more before the break. It's a special weight for 2-year-olds, 6 furlongs on the main, and a very good race popping up on December 19th at Aqueduct, Seth.
3, 9, 1, and 4, 2 Boss on top. El Padrino is one of those sires that's kind of sneaky on the win early side of things, but we certainly know Todd Pletcher can have them ready. Kendra Carmouche couldn't be riding any better than he is over the past, really few months. I was going to say month or so, but he took that fall meet at Aqueduct, so it's been a while that he's been riding very well, but continues to do so at this new winter meet. So 2 Boss on top. Mamza in the second spot. Couple of decent starts number-wise. Adds the blinkers this afternoon. With those 2 races under the belt, a little bit of an equipment change, cut back from 7 to 6. I thought Mamza could be interesting. And By George, Christophe Clement runner, so Christophe Clement can have him ready. But Into Mischief certainly jumps off the page to me as a win early, a debut winning sire often. And the Dam producer sibling called Arizona Moon, 8th in the career day on the second start. So I thought there was some win early on the bottom side of the pedigree as well. Inspiration Point worked 20.3 before attracting a lot of money at Ocala this year. And it goes out for Rapoli and company and Todd Pletcher. That one scares me, the morning line favorite. Bird Ruler off the claim was intriguing as well. Yeah, you said it, Brian. This is a nice field, and potentially some horses will come out of here that maybe can make a little bit of noise next year. But in the fifth at Aqueduct, I have a 3, 9, 1, and 4.
Inspiration Point, a $725,000 2-year-old in training purchased by California Chrome. So he looked the part, that's for sure. Bring us to our last break on the Handicappers Report. 5 down at Aqueduct, 5 more when we come back. Stay tuned.
Horses racing, people betting. It's been going on since before the Roman Empire. And the fastest horse is still the one that wins. Where there's gambling, there's cheating. That hasn't changed either. What has changed are the tools used to combat doping and cheaters. Today, professional horse racing operates under an aggressive anti-doping program, testing labs on par with the Olympics, and standards tougher than human sport. For 85 years, the Association of Racing Commissioners International has fought for safe horses and honest sport. ARCI standards form the basis for the rules of racing. Today, they call for a new expanded program to protect all horses, young and old. To join with them or learn more, visit arci.com.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your game on day or night with 75 flat-screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the capital region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Brian and Seth with you on a Saturday morning. Gulfstream, don't forget the mandatory Rainbow Six pays out today. Seth got through the early pick 5 at Aqueduct before we left, and now we'll go late pick 5, and it's a good one as well. Here's an optional claimer in race 6, 3 and up, 6.5 on the main.
5, the 1 entry, 9, and 3 for me. I put Mad Money's on top. Goes out first off the claim for Rudy Rodriguez, and you got to like it. It's a claim back, not just for Rudy, but for the owner too. Claimed away from that group, 2 back, and then they jumped in and paid a little more money, paid about 50% more to claim him back. You got to like that. And just on the numbers, Mad Money's is a player in here. It's 6-1 on the morning line. I like the whole scenario. So Mad Money's on top. As I say, the 1 entry, I normally when I look at these, I like to say, I prefer one over the other, but 1 and 1A, Chateau and Clench, pretty evenly split on both of these runners. Chateau comes in with a lot of early speed, a couple of third-place finishes in fairly similar events most recently, but firing numbers that match up nicely with this group. And Clench comes in off a nice win 2 back with a number that would probably get it done in here, but went backwards a little bit number-wise last time and actually finished behind entry mate Chateau. So again, I think on best efforts, both of these are equally intriguing to me. Happy Farm in the 3rd spot, hasn't been seen since March, but has plenty of early speed. Last 3 races were stakes races and ran very well with a win and a couple second-place finishes. Makes the comeback now moving into the barn of Linda Rice and moving onto the barn adjacent service. And that combined with the layoff, maybe put this horse down in the 3rd spot because I would have probably been tempted to move it up a little bit. But again, the service horses, as they moved into new barns, have been a little bit of a mixed bag. So we'll kind of take a wait and see. Have to put it in the mix, but we'll wait and see on Happy Farm off of the layoff in the scenario. And the 6th at Aqueduct, 5, the 1 entry, 9, and 3.
Race 7 kicks off the late pick 4. It's a 3 and up, $20,000 claimer at 6. Seth, this is an awesome card at Aqueduct today. Wow. Great late pick 5 coming up.
Yeah, and I mean, nice big fields, and the pick plays will certainly offer some value. 7, 5, 8, and 10. Vineyard Sound on top, just in good form right now. Robitrass runner, 3 straight wins coming into this. Claim it was a voided claim 2 back for 20, and they came off of that and bounced up to 32 last time, and now they go back down to 20. So I just think, again, it's one of the scenario looking at the resume here over the last few races, just say you have to tilt in that direction. Shamrock in the 2nd spot, comes off the claim for Ray Handle. Has numbers underneath enough. The recent numbers are okay as well. That I like the fact that this horse was racing against similar 2 starts back, 5 starts back. Last time dropped down a little bit. They reached in, they claimed the horse. Now they bounced back up to this 20 level. I like that kind of confident move. And then Square Shooter in the 3rd spot. Nice 2nd place finish last time. Also claimed out of a 16 claimer, and they move up, this half a step up. Finished just in front of Shamrock last time, which is notable as well. In the 7th at Aqueduct, kicking off a pick 4, a late pick 4, 7, 5, 8, and 10.
State breds in race 1X, fillies and mares 3 and up, 6 on the main track to kick off the late pick 3.
11, 6, 4, and 5. At Speaker on top, Jeremiah Engelhardt trainee. Nice maiden breaker 3 back. That was back in June. And then as the summer progressed, a couple more starts up at Saratoga in type of company, and it was a couple of 3rd place finishes, but after having shown some nice early speed. Now gets a little bit of a layoff, still lightly raced. I like that layoff with the lightly raced horses. As I said earlier, maybe they come back with some added maturity, and with that early speed, this one may be very dangerous. The number 11 Alex Speaker on top. Snicket in the 2nd spot. Nice maiden breaker last time. A little bit of a early autumn layoff, and just may have signaled that this horse benefited from that short break and has kind of figured it out and maybe puts a couple of nice efforts together. And then in the 3rd spot, Loon Lake, couple of nice wins most recently on the front end up at Finger Lakes. A lot of times these Finger Lakes horses get a little bit overlooked, but it is Chris Engelhardt. Kendra Carmouche jumps on board. At this time of year, I think the move from Finger Lakes to Naira isn't as potent as it might be at other times of the year. I think you have to pay attention to these Finger Lake shippers. And in the 8th, I have it 11, 6, 4, and 5.
The 9th is the feature. It's the Queens County, 3 and up, 9 furlongs, mile and 1/8 on the main track.
3, 4, 5, and 2. I put Empty Tomb on top for Mike Maker. Shipped out Churchill last time, and company proved to be a little too salty. But back to New York, this horse may benefit from that. Does step into Stakes Company, so we'll see if this is too salty. But I think, you look down the page a little bit. I think Empty Tomb is going to fit with this particular bunch. That one at a 6-1 morning line. I think there will be some value holding up here for Empty Tomb. Backside of the Moon in the 2nd spot, it's Rudy Rodriguez. Horse is the 8-5 favorite. I have no argument with this horse being the favorite, maybe deserving to be the favorite, but do note, 2 starts back, finished behind Empty Tomb. So I thought that was a little bit notable. And then in the 3rd spot, goes out for Mike Dubb and Robert Tross. Finished second, a close-up second to Backside of the Moon last time. In good form, couple of second-place finishes last 2 and 3 starts back, a nice win. So again, in good form, off the claim for potent connections in the claiming game. So Musical Heart deserves consideration as well. In the 9th, the Queens County for me, 3, 4, 5, and 2.
And we'll close it down in the 10th. It's a $25,000 state bred claimer, 7 furlongs.
I have a 2, 5, 11, and 8. The number 2, Dark Money, goes out for Linda Rice. Second off the claim, first off the claim. They bounced up the claiming ladder a little bit, going to an optional claimer, $40,000 tag. Showed some speed there before fading late. But I think getting back to this 25 level, the level the horse was claimed for, I think Dark Money is a little more well-suited to this group this afternoon. So that one on top, just right in the 2nd spot. Also coming off a claim last time at 25, won that one. Moves out of the barn of Todd Pletcher, however. But I think the horse is fairly consistent. And even in the new barn, if we get the numbers that this horse tends to throw, going to be right in the thick of things this afternoon. It's certainly shown an affinity for Aqueduct. And then the Caretaker in the 3rd spot. 4th behind Just Right last time. But that race actually looks like a little bit of an aberration in the wrong way. I think this horse is better than that, and the Caretaker may prove that this afternoon at 3-1 morning line. And I think I'll be interested to see where the horse goes, because I think people will kind of draw a little bit of a line through that last race, and this horse will take a little bit of action, and I think deservedly so. In the 10th and final at Aqueduct, 2, 5, 11, and 8. So there's a look at Aqueduct. Brian took a look at Gulfstream a little bit earlier. You can always catch up to the selection as well. If you didn't get a chance to write them down, go to capitalotb.com, click on the handicapping link and the Handicappers Report link in the drop-down menu. Nice printable sheets for some ideas at Aqueduct and Gulfstream. But Brian, before we let you go, I also have my Fairgrounds PPs here. And I mentioned at the top of the show we would touch on this a little bit, because coming up on Racing Across America, I'm going to be joined by Brendan Walsh. Talked to him yesterday. The return of Maxfield and the Tenacious this afternoon at Fairgrounds on a really nice stakes card. I think that's going to be a lot of the intrigue of the weekend. The very talented Maxfield, to see what he does this afternoon. What are your thoughts, Maxfield, and any of the other stakes this afternoon at Fairgrounds?
Yeah, the other stake, I mean, it's a great day, Seth. 6 $75,000 stakes, Santa Super Saturday, it's deemed. A lot of them are very deep, very competitive, especially the ones on the turf. So I'll just say the rails are down on the turf. Inside paths have been at a premium. So take note of that, folks, in your handicapping. My colleague, Joe Christopek, used the word enigma with Maxfield. And I think it's right on, because, he's got all this promise. And then at the end of the day, he's only run 3 times. He ran twice as a 2-year-old, won that Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland, forced to scratch out Breeders' Cup Juvenile Week, forced to scratch out of the Kentucky Derby fray in midsummer after a dominant win in the Matt win. So what do we get today? I would think, he's supposed to win today, Seth. I know he's facing older horses. He's facing a solid group. It's off an injury. It's off a layoff. It's the start of a big, they hope, 2021 campaign, but he should win today. We're very excited to see him. We're very excited to see the path he takes his connections down. I won't spoil, your interview with Brendan Walsh. I'm sure he told me when I talked to him the other day, a lot of what he told you, and that was a lot of excitement. So I'm sure that'll be a great interview. It'll be good to hear. I know his connections are very excited to get him back and going because he has shown so much potential and promise, and now hopefully they can get a full campaign out of him.
Yeah, looking forward to his return, stepping up against Older this afternoon. And so it's going to be fun. That's the Tenacious, scheduled to go off our time a little before 7 o'clock, 6:50, 5:50 your time this afternoon. On, again, a really nice stakes card down at the fairgrounds as well. Brian, again, enjoying your paddock commentary, and we'll look for more of it this afternoon as the day goes on and those stakes races are run. Appreciate the thoughts this morning on Gulfstream and more. And with the week coming up, want to wish you and everybody down there at the fairgrounds happy holidays.
Yeah, Seth, you and everybody back home as well. Happy holidays. Enjoy it. And we'll catch up with you next week likely.
Sounds good. All right, we'll wrap up this edition of the Handicappers Report. Stay tuned. Coming up in just a couple, racing across America. We'll see you then.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.